I'm the branch manager in the plantation office here in South Florida. And just to give you a little bit of background on me, I've been a realtor, been in real estate for about 8 to 9 years. I believe I started back in 2016. Um, and I got into real estate simply because I got pretty much burnt with the corporate world and the corporate business that I was in. And I just kind of wanted to do something on my own. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Wasn't really real estate at first, but I married this young lady, which is now currently my wife, that had a brokerage. And she kept saying, well, why don't you get your real estate license? So I'm like, okay, let me take the class. So as it turned out, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. And here I am. So much for that. So you became a realtor, and basically, I get a lot of questions from new realtors asking me, what do I do now? And if I could sum that up in just one word, it would be build relationships. Everything that you're going to do in real estate, really everything that you're going to do, no matter what profession you're in, is all about building relationships. And if you're a new realtor and you haven't already built relationships with the people that are in your database, meaning your phone, you need to start doing so. And we get a lot of, we get a lot of hits on as far as being coming off too salesy. And we're in sales, but we're also into helping people. We're into solving problems. We're into just that, building relationships. And at the end of the day, we know we want to make a profit from it. I mean, let's be factual about it. You're not doing this just as a hobby. But if you go into it, and this is, my ever so humble opinion, thinking, how can I be of value to people? How can I help? And really not so much focusing in on getting to the closing table, even though that's important, but you're thinking about, how can I help this person? How can I be of value to this person? I promise you, you will get to the closing table and you will be successful in this business. If And a lot of times you're being a realtor no matter where you at. No matter where you're at, you're always being a realtor. If I'm in the gym, 90% of the people in there are going to know that I'm a realtor. And it's not walking up holding a billboard saying I'm a realtor. I always like to advise realtors, try to be interested instead of interesting. And a lot of times what you can do is just go up to someone with a smile and being presentable and ask them what they do for a living. Ask them, hey, you seem like a cool person, whatever the case may be. What do you do for a living? And as soon as they tell you what they do for a living, the majority of the times they're going to ask you what you do for a living. And there's your opportunity to drop, hey, look, I'm a realtor. I just recently joined this killer brokerage called Lifestyle International Realty. Would you care to hear a little bit about it? And just like I said, just be present and remember to listen. Be interested and not so much interesting, because it's going to be so important that you listen, because there are things that people will tell you that later on in the future can be a benefit if you remember them, if you save them in your database. Call them out of the blue and say, hey, how's Johnny doing? I see it's his birthday. Be able to chart down things and important dates in their life. Therefore, sometimes you can call people and they're surprised that you even remembered their name, let alone remember little Johnny's birthday. Hey, how's little Johnny? Send them a gift card. That's all in building relationship, guys. And it's what we do every day. And you're not doing it with just saying that I'm doing it with selling you real estate in mind. But remember, people only remember the last realtor that they spoke with. You could be the nicest person in the world and they need to sell their house, but they only remember who they spoke to yesterday. So the importance of staying in front of people, the importance of just calling them up saying, hey, how are you doing? Can we meet for coffee? That's all a part of building a relationship. and do it from a place of caring, genuinely caring, and not focusing on the outcome. And I promise you, you'll get to where you need to go. Another important topic I like to bring up, or a point I like to bring up, is the importance of building relationships with realtors. And a lot of times, and I'm guilty of that. I used to be the same way. Why am I going to this real estate function? How am I going to, get new clients? Because they all do the same thing that I do. Well, that's true. But the reason why it's important to build a relationship with other realtors is simply because you could be working on a transaction, or you could put in an offer, and you may have done a transaction with that realtor in the past. You might not remember, but say that realtor do remember. That gives your client or your buyer a slight edge because they remember the pleasant experience they may have had with you as a realtor. Oh, this realtor answered, and was very persistent. This realtor was professional, whatever it may be. It's also a good way to, if you have a relationship with realtors, you can get pocket listings that way. You can literally get listings for your buyers. I'm sorry about sales for your buyers, pocket listings before they even get up on the market. So it's very important to build relationships with other realtors. Speak a little bit about, all right, you found a buyer or seller, you're in the midst of a transaction. I can't stress enough how important it is to just keep a line of communication. Family, answer your phone, return text messages. I can't tell you how many clients that I've had that has switched to me from another agent and just complained about no communication. No communication. It is our job to make sure. Remember, that buyer typically is purchasing the most expensive and most important purchase of their life. The last thing they want is non-responding, being non-responsive. Please make sure you stay responsive. Make sure you return text messages in a timely fashion. That is also a part of the transaction. What's also a part of building relationships in the transactions is do what you say you're going to do. If you make promises, make sure you follow through with them, because that trust that client's going to build with you simply because you're responding and you're doing what you're saying that you're going to do is the most important thing. And at the end of the day, when that transaction is over and they get to the closing table, that's what they remember. They remember things like that. So we went over caring about the client, building relationships with realtors, and then doing the transaction. So let's touch a little bit on after the transaction. Transaction closed, buyer or seller had a great experience with you, and what do you do next? That is the most important thing in building a relationship and keeping the relationship. And I too have been guilty in the past. I don't do it as much as I should. And listen, none of us are perfect. We have things to improve on, but knowing is half the battle. And when you know better, you have to do better. It is so important, be it a renter, buyer, or seller, is to maintain that relationship after the transaction is over. And sometimes it's basically just picking up the phone and sending a text. Hey, just want to make sure that you guys are doing okay. Hope you had a great experience. Please, at your earliest convenience, here's the link. Can you please send me a review? Even if you got to type it up yourself, I hope I can say that. But if you got to type it up yourself and send it and just tell them to sign it, make sure that relationship stays where they can actually send you a review. Also, contact that real estate agent that you did the transaction with, if there is one, and say, hey, look, send me your link so I can give you a review, and I'm going to send you my link so that you can give me a review. And that is also a part of building relationships. And I say building relationships to a point of redundance because that is everything about real estate. That is everything about what we do. Okay, building relationship and maintaining relationships. So we're in a month of the most high religious and spiritual time of the year. We just celebrated Christmas and Hanukkah yesterday. Hope everybody had a great time. Um, I didn't get home to 2 o'clock this morning, so if you see the little bags under my eyes, take it easy on me. So, up to this point, do anybody with us have any questions? I'd like to open it up. If you can unmute yourself, it's not that many of you. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask at any time. But going back to what I was saying is, by this being the most high spiritual point in our lives of the year, I would be remiss to not mention how important it is to have a relationship with yourself. And that goes for no matter what profession you're in, what are you doing, the importance of having a relationship with yourself. And as a realtor, there's a lot of moving parts in a real estate transaction. And I'm assuming most of you have experienced it, whether you've had a client and you had a listing, whether you had a client and you dealt with buyers, or you're dealing with tenants. There's so many different things that can, as people like to say, go wrong. Well, I encourage you to think about having the glass half full instead of half empty. We can't emphasize enough on how important it is to not get caught up emotionally when there's a transaction taking place and things don't go your way. Case in point, appraisals. You've done your CMA, you know about all the comps, and now you drum roll because you're waiting on the appraisal to come back. The appraisal come back, let's just say $5,000, $10,000 under what the listing or what the sales offer or whatever the case may be offered. A lot of times we like to look at it as, oh my God, how do we get by this? I like to look at it as it's a challenge for me and everything is going to be okay for all people involved because our God is looking out for us. Our source is looking out for us. And it's the attitude that you have to have with yourself to get through this. And we're looking at, we got these goals set. We want 5, 10 deals a month. Well, with those 5, 10 deals a month, a lot come with it. And you have to be able to handle it. And the important thing in handling those things that come with it is having your mind in the right place and knowing that no matter how this thing come out, everything is working out in my favor. Because everything is always working out in your favor. And a lot of times you can't see it, but it's not for you to see. It's already being worked out. And your job is just to trust that it's being worked out. And look, I'm not getting into any Bible scriptures. I can't, that's not what I'm qualified to do. But what I can tell you is that in my travel, when I've dealt with things and kept a positive mindset about it, and yes, I have had some sleepless nights in this profession. Trust me when I tell you, okay? But whenever I have a positive mindset about things and know that there's a greater good in store for everybody involved, I've always experienced things turning out the way that everybody wanted to turn out. And that is for your better good. So look, fam, take time out for yourself. Women, go get your nails done. Go to the spa. Take care of yourself. Men, get out, go for a walk, breathe some fresh air, and feel good about everything. I'm not going to take up much more of your time. Hopefully, do anybody have any questions? No questions for anybody? Do anybody have any comments? All right. So I'd like to say, look, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully some of these tips is something that you can use in the future. And we got a new year coming up, guys. Hopefully we do great things. No, we will do great things in 2025. And be safe. God bless you and have a great day.